All right, go live.
We're really kicking things off today with Court coming at me for my feelings about Scrubs, the best sitcom of all time. Court, listen, I let you into my pants one time, and this is how you turn around, and this is what you do.
You know what? You brought up Lasso. I was listening to Matt's pants this morning at the gym, so
As
that's
one
all.
does.
Yeah, seriously. I was just, he's saying all these nice things, and then he drops this like terrible take about Scrubs. Mind you, I know I'm the only one that actually feels that way.
Why
So
do you
many
not
people
like
love
it?
the show. I tried 2 seasons of it. I don't know what it is. Something about Zach Braff. He's very he annoys me, man. I don't know
That's
what it
so
is.
funny because I'm just like I feel like I'm JD, like that character.
I know. I listened to you talk about this already.
Just 1-1. But it's 1 p.m. We're gonna kick the show off. Let's roll that up. Bang! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PlayStation Drive episode 104. My name is Matt, and I'll be your driver for this wonderful Adventures events. This time, I'm joined, as always, as forever, as immaculate, the Supreme Court of Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. What's up, Court?
Hey, buddy.
How you
So
doing?
I did. The weather is beautiful. Finally, I'm gonna pull a Ryan here and talk about the weather, sort of. But I'm able to go into my pool again.
Nice.
So I got my new routine of I did 20 laps today.
Dang.
And dude, no, well, sorry, I shouldn't say 20 laps, 20 lengths.
Okay.
I'm only going one. You know
One
what I mean?
breath?
Going that way. Well, no, I stopped
You
once,
Aquaman?
but man, I am tired. It took just over 6 minutes to do. And it beat the living daylights out of me. Like, I went to the gym
Hold
this
on.
morning as I usually do, and my new routine is gonna be I'm gonna do 20 lengths in the pool, as almost like a cool down. And to all swimmers out there, kudos to you. That is a full body workout. Like, everything hurts.
So let me ask you this, though, because I think this is an
Yeah.
important point of clarification. Because I have a really funny picture in my mind of your pool being like 7 feet long, and you just kind of like kicking back and forth very, very quickly.
No,
How
no.
big is the pool?
I don't know,
'Cause
it's big. It's got a deep end and a shallow end.
Okay.
It's got my whole
I just
it's
pictured it
expensive.
being
That's all I
like
know.
8 feet long, and you're just kind of quickly going back and forth and being like after 7 minutes, being like, "Whoo!"
No, it's not like an Olympic pool or anything. It's just a backyard pool, but it's oh my god, like my legs were killing me. I was like,
I don't doubt it.
Jesus.
I don't doubt
I
it.
messaged Sean and it was like, hey, my lungs are on fire. Like
Yeah.
they hurt.
Yeah.
I was in pain.
Incredible you did
I'm a
that all in
baby.
one breath. But no,
I
dude.
will, but my goal
20,
is by the end of
dude.
the summer that it's gonna be nothing.
20 breaths, I like 20 lengths, I'd go like 3 and just be floundering in the pool.
I felt that. I did 15 yesterday and I thought my arms were gonna fall off. Today I did 20. So I think I'm gonna do 20 every day. And then by the time that doesn't bother me, then I add an extra 5. And then that doesn't bother me. You add another 5.
Yeah. We went to this like it's called K&K Liquidation out here just past Kitchener. It's apparently like this, I'd never heard of it before. We went over the weekend and I did way too much shopping, where they have like a bunch of like returned and like Costco items that just like weren't sold. And like we bought what looks like to be like a brand new rowing machine and like a treadmill and stuff. So like finally gonna set all that up today and get back on my fitness.
Is it the water row?
Hmm?
Is it the water rowing machine with the water?
There's no water as far as I saw. It's just a rowing machine
okay.
that they mispriced. So I got it way cheaper than I should have. Also where I picked up the DualSense Edge. But we're going to get into all of that.
And a lot more, yeah.
And so much more on this
like I
show.
said, listen this morning. I know.
We're going to be talking all about Days of Play. We're going to be talking about GTA 6, Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game, and a whole lot more, so strap in. But before we get to all that, we of course need to clean this dusty old garage of ours. If you're listening to us live on youtube.com/carpoolgaming right now, please make sure you subscribe, like, hit that bell, drop a comment while you're here and passing through on your way for your day's events. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast service of choice, please hit us with those 5 stars. Because of all of you wonderful folks, Spotify keeps being awesome here in Canada and put the PlayStation Drive pretty high up, so we appreciate all of you. And of course, Court, if they leave a review on their podcast service of choice and they hit us up on Discord or they hit us up on Twitter,
Right this time.
what could happen?
You will get entered into a chance to win a copy of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
That's the right number, right?
That is the right number.
Okay.
Final Fantasy
Sure.
16, if you enter, again, just a simple review, be honest. Hit us with your thoughts. Obviously, 5 stars is always cool. But you'll be entered to win Final Fantasy 16. And of course, if you have an extra couple bucks to toss our way, head to patreon.com/Carpool Gaming to tip your drivers. And out comes a cornucopia of content when you put in your bucks into the tip jar. It helps us grow and reach even more wonderful folks and helps us do more because, life's life, dude. But without further ado, my friend, it's been a minute because we didn't get to do this on last week's show because obviously we had a mega crossover episode. It was a big, long one. We know it was a doozy of an episode, but we had lots to talk about. But I want to hear from you, Court, because it's been a minute since I've heard about what's been on your playlist.
So I am still playing Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I am obsessively playing Beat Saber.
Yes.
I even on Friday night, my date night with my wife, my daughter went to a movie, and my wife and I played Beat Saber. We just rotated, taking the headset off and on.
Dude,
game's amazing.
That was Senna and I last night.
We played the campaign.
Yeah, that was Senna and I last night because of you and like obviously because Beat Saber hitting PSVR 2 again. We loaded it back up and like man, I'm starting to get my expert level abilities back. It's starting to click again. I was a little bit wonky, but like that game is just so much fun. It's so good.
I'm bad at it. I'm gonna say right now, my wife is way better at that game than me.
Yeah,
and that is totally okay. So yeah, I'm doing that. Playing Humanity, and I just started playing. Why can't I even think? Like I can't even think of the name right now. I'm literally gonna have to go on my phone because it's. I was literally playing it before we started.
Beaver Fun.
Prototype 2. Remember I talked.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I want to get back into that game. So I downloaded it and I started playing Prototype 2 because I didn't want to get anything that I couldn't walk away from. Because on Thursday, Diablo comes out and that is it. It's over. That's all I'm playing. I'll just keep playing that until something else catches my eye.
Until June 21st.
Yes, and I also hopped into Division, but I'm still waiting for Bobby Miller to help me get me through some things. I need somebody to come in and kill some baddies with me.
Help. Yeah, I feel that. On my end, I've also been playing a big old smattering of different stuff. I'd be remiss not to talk about Resident Evil 4 Remake because I know Nagachaka is way too excited that I'm playing that. I am loving the game. I remember, like, I'm realizing now that I played far less of it than I thought when I was a kid, when I played it originally on the GameCube. Really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 13, playing it on the Steam Deck. Runs like a dream on that thing. But man, Court, I have to say, so far, I just started Jedi Survivor. There's plenty of other stuff that I have on the go. But like, I think RE4 Remake is my game of the year so far. I'm shocked with how much I'm enjoying it. And after like, I tried to get Resident Evil 2, didn't jive with me. Tried to get into 7, appreciate it for what it was. I think because of how good 4 is, I'm actually going to go back to 8 and continue playing it on VR. And like, I'm now of course going to play RE4 Remake again on PSVR 2 when that update hits, because the game is just, it's so good. It's so good, and I'm so shocked because Resident Evil doesn't usually click with me. I think this is going to be the first one that I actually finish, like start to finish.
Good, dude. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm the same with 2. I praise Nagachaka, but I had tried, man. I played that game for hours on end, and it didn't click. It just wasn't my thing. It was like the going back and forth and doing things over, and I was just like, So the scares got me, but I'm gonna VR. I will try it on VR just for the experience, but I don't think I care.
I think I'd be curious to hear your thoughts this summer once we hit a bit of a slowdown, because obviously there will be a bit of a window. Get it from the library. There's no cost to you. You can get it from the library. Pick up RE4 Remake and see what you think, because this is much more my speed than any of the other Resident Evils. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it. Also started Humanity, just played the first bunch of levels. It's cool. I'm not big on puzzle games or games like this, but I'm going to keep going with it to see what happens.
And I will say this, you're going to need the gold guys.
Yeah.
Don't skip on the gold guys. But here, as someone that is bad at video games, should just get a t-shirt saying, I like playing video games, and then in small print, I suck at them. You can just, there's a whole bunch of video tutorials, because like there's only a couple ways to do the puzzle. Like it is what it is.
Yep.
And you can go through, and that's what I've been doing, because if you don't collect all the gold guys, you can't get to the next part. You need to get them. Yeah.
Okay, well, guess I'm going to be chasing some gold guys. Been playing a game called Knock on PSVR 2. Shout out to the developers for hooking us up with codes for that. It's basically like an archery Rocket League. I really like it. I'm really bad at it. Hopped into a bunch of games, got my butt kicked every time online, but I love playing it. I think it's the first game since Rocket League that has given me that same like, okay, one more game. I see what I did wrong there. I understand what my problem was. I have to go again. And right now it's literally just me being able to shoot the ball better. Like I'm working on it, really, really enjoying it. We're going to have a review up on the channel once I get a bit more time with it. But I'm like really pleasantly surprised with it. It's hard as hell, but I really like what they're going for.
Is that like the golf where like you beat me the first time, but then I got good?
Yeah, then you got good, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the third round. You know, we had to even it out 1-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I highly recommend Walkabout Mini Golf.
Yeah.
It's probably the most fun I've had in PlayStation VR 2.
It's really good. I've been playing Budget Cut Ultimate. I'll have more to say about that soon. Again, on PSVR 2, it's a combination of Budget Cuts 1 and 2. Didn't grab me at first. The more time I spend with it, the more I like it. I think.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you get the elevator to work? Because I've been trying over and over and over and over and over and over again, and the elevator won't work.
What do you mean it won't work?
I press the button. It doesn't. I can't get to floor 6. Like it tells me to go to the elevator. Tells me to get to floor 6. I can't get to floor 6.
Did you try to press?
So I walked away.
See,
nope,
you pressed both
it
buttons?
a lot.
Did you press both buttons?
Yep.
I don't know then. For me, the elevator worked. What my problem was, and I started to get frustrated for like 2 minutes. I kept pressing the floor that I was on without realizing it, and I was like, "Why won't this thing move?" And I misunderstood what floor I was on.
Hey, you gotta go. I know what floor to get to.
And I made that mistake more than a few times. Go, just try pressing the other button. See what happens.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, it's a combination. So I think I'm at almost the end of what was one. Again, more thoughts and feelings about that soon. And I started Jedi Survivor. I'm basically like going to like the forest temple, for the lack of a better way of explaining it. Really, really enjoying it so far. I will say I've had a bunch of technical mishaps. The game
interesting
hard froze on me the first time they went into like they did like a jump when you're leaving. Slight spoilers, when you're leaving Coruscant, the game hard froze on me. I could still hear things happening, but the game was just frozen. I couldn't do anything. So I had to force quit the game and relaunch it to get back in. A bunch of screen tearing. I've hopped from performance to quality back and forth. A bunch of screen tearing on both. I had the game hard freeze on a couple times that I died. Like when it goes to respawn, it was just frozen on respawn again. Had to force quit the game to get back in and out. I'm really enjoying the game. The game itself, I'm really enjoying, but I have had a bunch of technical issues.
I would say don't play it on performance at all.
So I've been jumping back and forth just to see what the difference is like.
I'm telling you right now, don't.
Yeah.
Like as someone that still plays the game and still loves the game,
yeah,
just play it with the 4K and the 30. Don't play it on performance, because that's the only mode that I'm having issues with, and I would be very curious to know that probably 80% of your issues have happened while performance mode has been on.
Actually, I would say about 50-50 right now, because I've
50-50. Okay, that's fine.
Because I've been swapping back and forth to see, are these issues on across both. And then, like I said, the first time that it like hard crashed was in quality mode. And I was just like, all right, well, I guess this is life now. So I'm really enjoying the game for what it is. But I will say the performance of it, the game is so good that the performance has not bothered me enough that I'm going to stop playing it. I'm obviously going to continue playing it because I'm really enjoying it, but the performance has been an issue. So yeah.
Or it's just you. You're an issue.
Yeah, I'm an issue. We all know that. But without further ado, my dude, we have a whole bunch of news to talk about. So let's transition over to our first story. Just this morning, we got confirmation that Days of Play 2023 is kicking off. Real quick, have to give a huge shout out to Mr. Midas, who was on Kind of Funny Games Daily for the first time.
Oh, yes.
Just absolutely crushed him on Jordan Medler, who, we use VGC as a source all the time. The two of them were fantastic. If you haven't seen their episode, go check it out. But there was a hilarious moment. Once the show was ended, they were doing like the post stream. They were just taking questions from the audience. They were asked where's Days of Play, and none of them knew what Days of Play was. So that's just a really funny moment that I was like, it's the sale. And then somebody's like, I think it's a sale. But yeah, dude, Midas crushed it. Huge congratulations. Huge shout out to
he's always on the right side of history with Last of Us Part 1.
Nope.
Smart guy.
Nope. Yep. Jordan was on the right side of history that time.
No, he is. Jordan had the worst. His takes were just fire.
Really?
Just fire.
Even the one where he was saying how Breath of the Wild was mid, even though you feel the same way?
I don't feel so my thing about Breath of the Wild, I just said it's not for me. I respect it as a game. I just don't think it's for me. There's a difference. I've never trashed that game.
I know.
That's fine if people like playing their Shell Shaded game. That's fine. Immortals Phoenix Rising is the better of the two. These are just facts.
Yep. But yeah, Midas crushed it. Huge shout out to him. He was wonderful. Go check him and Jordan out. But Days of Play, we finally got confirmation today. It's kicking off on June 2nd, a week long of deals, June 2nd to June 12th. You're going to be able to save on PlayStation Plus memberships. You're going to be able to get some deals directly from PlayStation if you're in a bunch of these territories. Otherwise, too bad. Usually here in Canada, Best Buy and GameStop do have Days of Play specials on as well.
So yeah, because we're not on the list.
No, because we don't have PlayStation Direct.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this, I didn't understand, like, even Robbie Bobby Miller, I saw the tweet, and he's getting all excited, and I'm just like, what am I excited for? This never excites me.
I'm curious to see. Well, we do get the deals in store. It's just we don't get it directly from PlayStation.
I'm wondering what they'll be. I'm hoping, like as I said to you, I had something in my cart and then I forgot to purchase it, and 24 hours later it was, $80 instead of the 20 it was the day before. So we'll see.
PlayStation Gear again on the PlayStation Gear store, and there's going to obviously be a big sale. We don't know too much more about it yet, but it is nice to know that confirmation that it is coming. That Days of Play will be kicking off in just a few days on June 2nd, because people have been asking, where's Days of Plays at? Court, what's your biggest hope for a sale in Days of Play? What do you want? What do you want to see here?
I have all the first party games. It's more just any game that I was like on the borderline of playing that I just, here in Canada, games are expensive, and I know they're expensive in Australia and other places, but like I just want games that are usually $90 at $20 and I'll buy them.
Yep, me too.
That's where I am.
I'll definitely be taking a look for some PSVR 2 stuff, anything that we may have missed. Like I definitely
there's a Transformers game that I really want to play, but it's $40 that's even too much.
So that's what I mean. I'm waiting to see. Let us know in the comments, what do you think? What's some Days of Play stuff that you're looking forward to? GTA 6, moving on to our next story coming from GameSpot. I'm going to pull from two stories here, folks, and then Court and I are going to have a bit of a discussion, a bit of a dissection about it. GTA 6 might release as soon as 2024, Take-Two suggests. This is written by Jessica Howard over on GameSpot. Grand Theft Auto publisher Take-Two Interactive may have just revealed the release window for the next entry in the series, Grand Theft Auto 6. Based on statements made during Take-Two's annual earnings call, it seems likely that the highly anticipated title could launch as early as next year. In their annual earnings report, Take-Two shared a staggeringly high $8 billion net bookings goal for fiscal year 2025, which kicks off next April. To put that into perspective, the company reported record-breaking net bookings of $5.3 billion this past year. Usually it hovers around $3 billion, so obviously they are looking for a big bump. And
I would think that's a conference. Like, we've seen the leaks, right?
So,
the leaks have all happened. People can go look, don't look. I actually believe Take-Two got them all taken down.
I think there was one that went down.
Yeah, because there was a lot of videos and showing, from what I saw, because this is one of the games where I don't think you can really be spoiled on anything, because it's almost like a choose your own adventure, right?
I mean, it's like,
there are,
Lord knows what that game is actually going to be. We don't know enough about what the actual game is.
Exactly. But the thing, I think my biggest excitement for GTA 6 is Rockstar always sets the stage on what the rest of the generation is going to have to do. So they're like, hey, they reinvent the wheel every time.
I'm going to pull in VGC real quick here, because this is also part of it, coming from Tom Ivan. Take-Two says GTA 6 needs to be something never seen before, but also familiar. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick has discussed what he views as one of Rockstar's major challenges when it comes to meeting expectations. In the entertainment business, we adopt our hits like they're part of us. They're part of our family. We have a great affinity for them, and we take it personally if people screw around with them. Like, it's not okay if creators make a choice that is inconsistent with how these things we wish to be displayed. I think the challenge that the folks at Rockstar face every time there's a new iteration of GTA, it needs to be something you've never seen before on one hand, but it also needs to reflect the feeling that we have about GTA, and that's a big challenge for the team. So obviously there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of hullabaloo. What does GTA 6 need to do, Court, for it to be truly what we expect from a next-gen Grand Theft Auto? Because let's remember, Grand Theft Auto 5 hit on the PS3, right? It initially launched there. We got Red Dead Redemption 2 in the PS4 generation, which was these are the last two first party, let's call them, Rockstar games that we've had in over the last decade. So GTA 6 needs to do more. It needs to be bigger. What do we need to see from it for it to be like, wow, Grand Theft Auto is back, and not just it's Grand Theft Auto?
Well, one, it's the interaction on the map. Like when I go into a store or I go into anywhere, I want to be able to go in every single building that I see. At least the ground floor. I get it if the high rises, the apartment buildings, but like GTA is very interactive. So I want to be able to go into any building I see. And I also I'm hoping they don't have us the 4 protagonists again. Or the 3. Like I wasn't a big fan of always having to switch. I would rather, and this is just me personally, anybody else, I would rather character creator where I can choose what I want to be as my character. It's still going to put you down this path where the character, like a lot of games in Ubisoft do and such, where you can the dialogue doesn't change, but the tone of the voice or whatever I choose it to my character to be, that's who my character goes through as. That's what I'm hoping. And because I would assume Rockstar would have the most in-depth character creator in the history. And I'm also hoping to be able to not just only be like, say they pick somewhere like LA. I don't think they're going to. We just were in LA before, but say they pick Las Vegas or something like that. I want to be able to go more air. I want to be able to hop on a plane and like go to New York for a mission and come back. Like I would love that kind of cool stuff where like, yes, you've got to like hijack a plane. This is Grand Theft Auto here, right?
So you
got to
hijack
a plane to go somewhere.
Huge hub areas that you can travel between rather than one single expansive open world, let's say.
Yeah, I would think that would be cool because they're always just this giant map, right?
Yeah.
Maybe something different. But I'm also of the mind of saying, don't break what's not broken. Like the amount of games we get out where the developers like, we've got to do something different and more exciting than what we've ever done before. And then we all get disappointed because it wasn't the thing we had before.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, sometimes, going that extra crazy mile is just not worth it. That's all.
I'm with you. Like, I do think that I think Red Dead Redemption 2 set the bar in a lot of ways in terms of what kind of quality story you can get out of what is a big open world single player game. And I really do feel that GTA 6, I'd be more worried if this was Bethesda, to be blunt. Bethesda seems to make their games in a bit of a vacuum, or at least historically they have. They don't pay attention too much to what's going around outside of them. They kind of do their thing. Grand Theft Auto, I think, or Rockstar as a whole, has been very good at adapting and changing with the times. So Lord knows how long GTA 6 has been in development, but what I am pretty, confident is that we're going to see something that I do think will really blow us away. It will not be for everybody, and no game ever is, but I do think we're going to see some deeper levels of interactivity. I almost want them to go, because I think you're right. I think in terms of like, it would be cool to have a bunch of hubs. I wouldn't mind an expansive open world that has multiple cities as part of the kind of entire makeup. But what I want to see is them really go in on making the story feel impactful. What I would really want is the ability to make choices, is the ability for the story to change dynamically depending on what I'm doing. Because that's the great thing about Grand Theft Auto as a whole, right? It's a giant sandbox. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can go rob, you can go jack cars, you can do this, you can do that. But like, I want to see them take that customizability, that freedom, and put it into their story. I want to see branching narratives. I want to see something change, because this, like, cannot, historically, you finish the GTA story and you're finished the GTA story. That is what it is. You're moving on to GTA Online. I want to see a ton of side stuff. I want to see story, a branching path within the story. I want to see just a ton of random stuff that you could do in the world, and it all feels awesome.
What do you think the odds are that it's an always online game, no matter what? Like, regardless whether you're in the story or not, it's going to require you to be online the whole time.
I think that's a lock.
Yeah, I think so too, but I also think that everybody's going to let it go. They'll get mad at any other game that comes out, but Grand Theft Auto will come out, and the silent majority might get mad, but everybody will overpower with not caring.
The problem is that I feel like always online is becoming a more
standard over outlier.
We're seeing more of it happen even with the single player games. I think Grand Theft Auto inherently, whether GTA Online launches alongside of it or not, we're seeing companies get more aggressive with their DRMs.
I also think it's going to be the most advertised like actual advertisers paying to have their advertisements in the game than we've ever seen.
No doubt. Like that game
2K will be like embarrassed. 2K basketball will be like, oh, you thought we had advertisements? I have a funny feeling with this. We're going to see billboards. It will set the stage on what video games are going to look like in the future.
It definitely will, especially because, again, they're going to be riding this for the next decade. Like, we're not going to see
Yep.
GTA 7 anytime soon. So they're going to be...
And it's going to be a PS5, Xbox. It's going to be next gen only. But you're going to get the other version.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see...
Really? You're going to think you're going to get a PS4 version? Really?
No,
I think it's next gen only.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's only going to be PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. But I don't know. I'm really curious to see what's going to come from this, especially because we've had a lot of cool open world stuff since Red Dead Redemption 2, since GTA 5, and I'm just really curious to see what Rockstar is going to bring to the table whenever we see this. And I think, release date seems like a lock. I don't see anything else in Take-Two's portfolio. Like, I don't think they're bringing back table tennis, swinging for the fences.
Unless they're going to charge you every time you take a basketball shot in 2K basketball. Like, it's the only way you're getting that money, right?
Yeah, so like it has to be soon. It has to be next year. Whether it's end of next year or beginning of the year after,
I would think it's fall next year.
I think
it's the fall game.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy lock. Let's move on to our next story. We're gonna hop over and take a look at Benji Sales over on Twitter, who has a PlayStation business update for us. PSVR 2 is selling faster than PSVR 1. PS5 supply and production have been fixed. 30% of PS Plus subscribers, premium or extra. They are going to have a big focus on new IP. PlayStation Studios games to cover every genre. There's going to be a lot of cross-media push and a balance of single-player and live service. So obviously, we had the showcase last week. We already had a deep breakdown into what that was. But we're seeing here now is a bit of finer details. I'm very happy personally to see that PSVR 2 is selling faster than PSVR 1.
That's what I took out of it. And the 30% of people paying for extra, more than extra, was actually a shock to me because I still don't see the value. But people playing PSVR 2 and buying PSVR 2, and even it was in my local Best Buy and it's gone.
Yep.
I saw one there and now I went back to go get something there and it was gone. So people are buying it. I'm hoping they support it more. I was happy that we saw it in the showcase because, like I said, this is my first jump into VR and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm like, okay, I want more. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody else does, but I do.
For me, I think what we need to see next is I think we saw a solid VR 2 showing at the showcase. So you got some stuff. Obviously, Beat Saber launching is great. Everybody's obviously still chopping at the bet to get Half-Life Alyx over.
I'm dying.
But what I want to see out of PSVR 2 is a reason as to why I'm playing this on PlayStation. I want more first party. Here is the IPs that we care about. Here are the studios that we know. And this is why it's important. And I hope that PlayStation just doesn't rest on third party. And I hope we get more than what is a game a year. I don't want to be next February. We're talking about the next first party PlayStation VR 2 game a year after Call of the Mountain hit.
Call of Mountain was amazing.
It was fantastic. I really, really liked it. I want more of what they're doing there. And 30% of PS Plus subscribers being either premium or extra is great. Like it's obviously trending in a good direction. I hope that continues because, as we've mentioned, extra's in a really good place in terms of the quality and the offering. Premium leaves.
I think extra's the value.
Yeah, extra's the value. Premium leaves room to be desired.
And it's not that bad. Like we've talked about this before. And this is not, I wouldn't say a hot take, but Game Pass, PlayStation Plus Extra competes with Game Pass finally. I think it does.
It's getting there.
Getting there. Like I think it competes. I just you look at the games that are in there, and I'm like, if you're a person that's only on PlayStation, you should feel okay now. Besides before launch, maybe, but I think PlayStation Plus now, like it's something I could recommend to someone. They're like, oh, what should I get? And I'm like, it's not my, hey, go get an Xbox right away because the Game Pass now. It's like, you know what? There's value there. There are games for their kids. There's games for everybody in the service now, and there's a wide variety of them.
I think Extra is growing and trending in the right direction. We have seen more hit day and date over the last few months. We are seeing more on that front. I was going to say I was very surprised though that not a mention during the showcase, and it's something that I just thought about now. There was
but they did mention PC. If you noticed, on the very bottom, PC and PlayStation 5.
But we didn't get any. This game is coming to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, we've talked about the showcase. But
I think that's just the one thing that we haven't talked about.
I still don't think their messaging was off. That's all.
There was, but I'm just surprised. Like at least in the last one, we got Chia coming to the last State of Play, we got PlayStation Plus Extra day and date.
Good point.
I'm surprised we didn't see that at all.
Yeah, because Xbox does a very good job of that in their showcase.
Exactly. So for me, it's just like it would have nice to at least seen one of that. But obviously, what this tells us from Benji sales is that the PlayStation, ecosystem is doing very well. It continues to sell, and like now that, especially with like as I mentioned, PSVR 2 now finally being in stores in the US because it was only through direct at PlayStation before, and them fixing the supply chain and stuff. There's a lot to come here. What I'm interested in court here is PlayStation Studio games to cover every genre. What genres are we missing? We've talked about.
I honestly, I think that is that to me is just marketing speak. Yeah. I really do. Like they're like, oh, live service. They're doing it that way. Live service game, this game, that game, this game.
True.
Unless they're giving us a platformer kids game, that's the only one they're missing, right? And they have that with Astro. So actually, no, like I just don't know what they're actually really missing besides their own first-person shooter.
I want RPGs.
Like, I know you do. That's okay. I get it. But like when you're talking about sales, it kind of like brings me to the whole. We've seen a lot because we're going to talk about the showcase. We've seen a lot of Xbox versus PlayStation lately, and I'm always just like I'm so confused. I look at these sales numbers, and so. Nagachaka asked a question, and if you could read it, I kind of did some because we're going to lead into showcase here. It kind of goes with what I kind of did some research based on just his question.
Okay,
alone.
Let's pull in Nagachaka. I have the question right here. Nagachaka over the Discord asks: is the internet overreacting to last week's PlayStation showcase and the recent update from Naughty Dog, or are the mixed negative reactions justified?
So I would say anybody's reaction can be justified. If you thought it was meh, but I went back and I even looked at the Xbox showcase from last year that even myself, I was there live at the Xbox event and I walked out and I was like, this is amazing. But I think it had a lot to do with what you just said about the messaging. If the PlayStation showcase said any of those third-party games were day and date on PlayStation Plus, there's a yes moment. There's a awesome moment. I'll take this to the grave. I think for sure that wasn't the original showcase and Factions would have been there. We have the delay. It wasn't there. They filled it in with a Gran Turismo trailer and showing us Project Q and the headphones. I'll take that until I'm blue in the face. We said it when it was happening. Both you and I were like, this feels weird. The timing was off. Like why is that being brought in there? But I did some research with regards to it's almost like a victory lap people take whenever one of the brands doesn't do well. And I truly think the history of Xbox One and PlayStation 4 really matter when we're talking about these things. So I just wanted to throw some numbers at everybody. So because the Xbox people like trashing PlayStation people, or even vice versa, it's so weird the fanboyism. But choose their own. If you want that stuff, that's fine. Like everybody has their brand or that they want to be a part of. It is what it is.
There's toxicity on both sides here. Like there were way too many of the PlayStation ridiculousness when Redfall wasn't doing well, when Xbox wasn't doing well, and now it's just like I feel like the kind of overall.
That's what I want to get into. Like Xbox has been, it's been 2013 is when the Xbox One came out. Okay, Xbox 360 was an amazing console. PlayStation 3 was an amazing console. PlayStation 3 did sales because in the end, all that matters is sales to both of these companies. As much as people will say what they want to say about it, the PlayStation 3 sold 87.4 million consoles worldwide. The Xbox 360 sold 85.73, but at a time, the Xbox 360 used to be way ahead. But then we got the Xbox One and the PS4 generation. The Xbox One total console sales were 51.2 million. The PlayStation 4 total console sales are, ready for it, 117.3 million in sales. Like exclusives during the Xbox One, 31 exclusive games that were not on PlayStation. I'm not saying whether the time, just these games did not show up on PlayStation. They had $24.6 million in exclusive sales just on the ones I was able to find. And that's just your heavy hitters that were in the top. But their top selling game on that console wasn't even a first party game. It ended up being PUBG. And I know a lot of the thing everybody's getting mad about at the showcase was first party, but we'll get into that because on the Xbox side, their majority of their number one selling games aren't first party games. Their second highest selling game on the Xbox One was Halo 5 at 5 million copies. The PS4, this is a big number,
245 console exclusive games that were not on Xbox. But the caveat here is it is huge in Japan and they have a lot of exclusives that we don't even see out here in North America, but 245 compared to the 31 on the Xbox. They had 133.7 million just on the games that I was able to find. Their top selling game on the PlayStation 4 was Spider-Man, that topped at $20 million in sales, and God of War, which is at 19.5. That's their second game. Both first party games. Both were getting a Spider-Man 2, which was shown at the showcase. So that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, they're only showing Spider-Man 2, unless Starfield, and none of us have played it. And Redfall was already a disappointment. If we look at the showcase from last year, a lot of it was third party for Xbox as well. But they did a very good job, as Matt said, in branding and saying this is coming day and date to Game Pass. So it makes you associate with Xbox.
Yeah.
But it's perception, right? It's a lot like I joked to Matt at the beginning. It's a lot of people take this like they're on the sports team that's not doing good. But when they beat the one that is doing good, it's like they won the championship. I don't think you should be worried about either. But I'll go into more numbers. The Xbox Series X and S. Now, the sales, we can only get the combined sales because they haven't released individual, which worries me a bit on that one side. But total sales is $20 million as of right now between the two consoles. Game Pass subscribers are 25 million. Xbox Live subscribers are over 25 million for Game Pass. We don't have the final number, but a lot of people think it's about that $30 million mark. Xbox Live subscribers, you have 120 million. Now, that's a weird number because there's a lot of people that have had it for forever and they just haven't canceled. But 120 million, no number to scoff at. Console exclusives to date. They have 12 to date, and all have been next gen, cross gen, except Hi-Fi Rush and Redfall. Hi-Fi Rush, phenomenal game. Redfall, divisive. Some people like it. A lot of people don't. It is what it is. It just didn't jive for me. But that was a game that I was very excited out of the showcase. So that's why I always say about these showcases, liking a game in the showcase and it actually showing up are two different things. Total console sales for the PlayStation 5, 31.7 million. PS Plus subscribers, 47.4 million, with the new estimates just about over 50 million. Console exclusives, PS5 only. 10 games so far. And only 9 have been cross-gen that are not part of those 10. So to take a victory lap, I look at it this way. Spider-Man 2 is amazing. You and I just finished talking about how Grand Theft Auto is probably coming out next year. If you're PlayStation and you're selling consoles and you have games and you have your first parties, what else do you have to do? We already know Wolverine's coming. They showed us that earlier. That game is going to be amazing. If that game comes next year, that's huge. It's almost like people feel like they need it, and this is totally up to anybody. They can want. I heard Colin Moriarty say consoles aren't important. I disagree with that. Console exclusives are 100% important. That's the reason people stay in an ecosystem. I am a huge component of single-player, story-driven games, and I conveniently play majority of my games on PlayStation. Like, that's just the correlation there is 100%. Can you be disappointed about the showcase? 100%. But is Sony in a bad shape or anything like that? Like you hear on the internet right now, it's almost laughable at this point. And I put up a meme in our Discord just as a joke of that meme where the guy is on the podium and he's showered himself with the champagne and he's kissing the girl and he's really just in third place. That's what I feel like they're doing right now. And let them have their victory lap. I live in Toronto. When the Leafs won the first round, people acted like they won the Stanley Cup. We just let them have that.
It's just like I think that there is a lot of toxic fanboyism across the industry, regardless of where you're coming from or what you're championing. Like when Xbox was down, the toxic PlayStation fandom was at their throats. Now that PlayStation's down, the toxic Xbox fandom is doing exactly what was already done. It's just there's no winning on either side here. Like it's just a perpetual circle of
like
putting each other
numbers
down.
Stay different.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like at the end of the day, a healthy Xbox and a healthy PlayStation makes the entire ecosystem a better place to be in. The entire industry benefits when everybody is excelling. That pushes innovation forward. That pushes indies into a better spot. Everybody benefits when these consoles are doing well, when the industry is doing well. So to celebrate either side not having a good game, I don't think anybody who loves gaming wanted Redfall to be bad. I don't think anybody who loves gaming wanted the PlayStation Showcase to be a misstep, because there is a lot here. So I feel like there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of, again, bolstering up of this showcase before it even hit the ground, of this is Xbox's, nail in the coffin. This is going to drown them. This is going to put them right out. And what came was a showcase that was fine. It was okay. There was a lot of great games there. I'm not discounting what we saw, but when you come at a showcase, you're expecting more PlayStation first party, which is what we didn't get. Whether the rumors of what happening with factions are true or not, is a completely different story, because again, we don't know where that game's at. We don't know what's happening. We don't know if Bungie.
Well, now we know where it's at.
Well, theoretically, we know it's delayed, which is fine. Again, I would much rather them take their time. The rumors of Bungie coming in and saying this game doesn't have that long.
Yeah, and that's a rumor, but people are acting like it's fact.
Yeah. Right, again, we don't know, and we won't know until either PlayStation or Naughty Dog shows us and we have our appropriate reaction, or it gets canceled, which is entirely a possibility as well. Anything could happen until these games are in our hands. So I think for me, it's just like there's just so much negativity out there, and so many people buy into it so needlessly. It's like, what's the point? Nobody does. If Xbox disappeared tomorrow, the PlayStation wouldn't inherently be a better place, and vice versa. Like, a bad game is a bad game. A bad showcase is a bad showcase. That doesn't speak to the overall health of the console or the industry at large. Xbox is poised, hopefully, to have a great, showcase when they swing.
I hope so. I want to see the Indiana Jones game real bad.
Dude, there's so much to celebrate instead of focusing in on what's bad. Both of these consoles have sold well. Both of them have done well. PlayStation is very healthy. I mean, Phil Spencer himself said they're not trying to chase the #1 spot when it comes to console sales. Yeah, we know that.
As someone who played sports his whole life, that's what you say when you're already losing, but that's fine.
Sure.
Because there is, if you really want to get into sales, there is a winner and loser here.
Of course.
No matter what, Xbox could have the best showcase, but I think Phil Spencer was right when he was like, our showcase isn't selling consoles. Mm-hmm. But I disagree with him, and I disagree with what Colin Muller already said on Lords of Iron Lords on Sunday. Mm-hmm. He said that exclusives don't matter. You know what? They do. They 100% do. There's a reason you buy consoles. And I switched to PlayStation at the end of the PlayStation 3 life cycle for Uncharted and Infamous, and I never went back.
And
these are just facts.
So I think that there is, to Nagachaka's kind of question, I do think there's a lot of stuff here that's just being tossed around. I do think there's an overreacting, but I do think that if people don't like it, like you said, Court, that's totally fine not to like it. There's totally fine to be nervous or to be worried. If that's the way that you're feeling, that's totally fine. But to blow it out of the water and say PS5's dead or Xbox is over, like, people just need to relax. And whatever happens,
that's the chill, man. Like, and that was we were going to talk about the showcase, but when Nagachaka asked that question, I texted Matt and I was like, I'm going to do some research, because that is the showcase anyways. We've we've done 2 episodes already on the showcase. Mm-hmm. I thought Spider-Man 2 was Rockstar stuff. Project 100%. Zero. There's a lot of cool games to be excited about. There's always something for everybody, but it is what it is.
Let me ask you this then, before we move off of this, because I know this is another thing that's going around now, and I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts. Do we get a second showcase this year?
Honestly, I hope so. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I think we might is because Sony doesn't like losing. When they did the video at E3, when they were like, this is how you share a game, probably my favorite E3 moment ever, besides Keanu Reeves like pointing at the crowd and just being incredibly good looking like the man is. Mm-hmm. But Sony doesn't like to lose.
Nope.
They are 100%. People say it is what it is. Companies care how much they sell. Sony might be like, okay, we need to do something. Can we do it? They're first probably going to say, can we do a showcase when they do the state of play? Because we know what's coming. Spider-Man's reportedly releasing in September. We didn't get we didn't get a date, which was also weird. Spider-Man didn't get a date, but Spider-Man's probably releasing in September. We're probably going to get a state of play before that. There's their opportunity. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. But honestly, right now, my gut is that they don't.
I think you're right. Like, I don't think we've ever had. I think you researched this, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we haven't had 2 showcases.
We never had 2 showcases in a year. I do think that we will see something else substantial from them to give us an update on first party. Whether that's another state of play, whether that's another branded showcase.
Well, we are getting another state of play though. Like, that's what I'm saying. We're definitely getting that.
But like,
showcase.
But like that's what I mean. I'm curious to see, because I really do think a lot of their they're being very gun shy right now because of a lot of like Insomniac's caught an immense amount of crap over the last few years for showing Spider-Man 2 and what they perceive to be too early, and people just being like, where is it? Where is it? Where is this? And like, they've gotten death threats. They've gotten a whole bunch of incredibly gross stuff. So like, I do think they're being more, careful about their messaging because, to talk about games when they're most imminent. Spider-Man 2 is the last one that we know is coming soon. We don't know what PlayStation first party has in their back sleeve after that. They have to talk about it sooner rather than later because we have to know what to get excited about in 2024. We think Wolverine is coming that year. We don't know. But that's the only real known quantity that we have left. So we'll find out. But dude, let's talk about one last story before we move into our questions, because Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game could release early 2024. Says report coming from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming.
Do or do not.
A new report from Kotaku has stated that Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game, codenamed Project Helix, could release in early 2024. The report says the game is currently scheduled to release this fiscal year, April 2023 to March 2024, and is the quote-unquote another big game Ubisoft mentioned in its last earnings call. According to the report, though, Kotaku sources believe that the current fiscal year target is probably too ambitious, and the title will likely slip into next year, which is April 2024 through March 2025. We know Ubisoft Forward is coming. Do we see Star Wars, and is it imminent right after or right on the heels of Jedi Survivor?
I think we 100% see it at the Ubisoft Forward. It's just going to be a trailer. I 100% don't think there's any sort of gameplay, but it's Star Wars. It's such a big franchise that you have to. You're Ubisoft. You need more people back in your corner.
Yep.
And if you're Disney, you're okay that Jedi Survivor is your one game this year. You're like, okay, that's fine. Like, we don't need two of our games. We got Spider-Man at the end of the year. We've got Star Wars that came at the beginning of the year. We're good. Mm-hmm. They also have Dreamlight Valley that's going on, because there's that aspect to it that I always in my mind. Like, Disney is a machine. You love your Disney machine in your Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. This is still part of Disney. They have their hands in their games now. Like, this is the thing, right?
Jones, right?
Correct. So they've got all these titles that they know are coming. So for them, they could have been the ones that are like, it's not ready yet or whatever. But I look at the team that's making the game, which has also made one of my favorite games, was The Division 2. Mm-hmm. This is what has me excited more than anything else.
Yep.
That game I love so much. If that game is just Star Wars characters in that game, but with Star Wars weapons and light, oh my God. Like, I am beyond excited for this game. So for me, whenever it's ready.
Yep.
Show it to me, do whatever. And if we don't see it at Ubisoft Forward, we will 100% see it at the D23. Like, it's just what it 20. It would be at a Disney. Disney, remember, they've done this with their games before. They show games at their Disney showcase.
Yeah, true. I'm really, really curious because we don't know a ton about this game. Obviously, we've never seen anything from it.
So we know it's Division type game, right?
Yeah,
we know it's
it's an open world Star Wars game. That's about as much as we got. So like, I'm very, very curious to see it in action. If it is like, targeting, let's say February of next year, what would be almost a year after Jedi Survivor. Great timing, keep Star Wars on the forefront of people's minds. I think this could be really, really cool. I'm very curious to see more of it. But without further ado, my dude, let's open up the car doors and let some of our friends in. If you want your question read on the show, join the free Discord. It is in the show notes, and ask us questions or interact with the weekly question post. Just like Robbie Bobby Miller did at Smooth423. Robbie Bobby Miller asks, I finally got my BR2. What games are a must-buy/play? Side note, it was the Horizon bundle, so we don't have to throw in Call of the Mountain. But Court, what games does Robbie Bobby Miller need in his life?
Robbie Bobby Miller, you need to get Walkabout Mini Golf so you can play with me and Matt, because we both have you as friends on the PlayStation. So please come play with us. And then, as someone, like, for some reason, he is the closest to my taste. Mm-hmm. Him and I, the games he's playing is pretty much always the same games I would be playing, and we play a lot of the games. So I would say right off the bat, go out and get Humanity and just give it a try. It's because it's there, it's free. Go play it.
It's on extra.
Because it's got PlayStation Plus, and play that. But Walkabout is great. I really like Another Fisherman's Tale, so I would suggest going about and playing that. And Unplugged Air Guitar is still, besides Beat Saber, is still one of the games I go back and play and have a ton of fun with.
Fair, yeah.
I think those type of games are way more fun.
I think Beat Saber is a must. I think you
Yes.
absolutely have to. I'm going to echo Walkabout Mini Golf VR. Both of those games need to be at the top of your list. If you like Resident Evil, the Resident Evil 8 Village VR mode is really, really impressive. No Man's Sky, again, incredible in VR. If that game is kind of your ilk, I have to shout out Pistol Whip. If it's like
Yeah, I didn't try that
super
yet.
hot Beat Saber baby, it's a ton of fun, and you just feel so incredibly badass playing that game. Pavlov, if you liked Counter-Strike and you want to play it in VR, Pavlov is your way to go. And yeah, like I think that's a really good starting point to kind of hop in and check so much more out. Ryan Johansson at Ryan Johansson CA just says, can't wait. Keep up the good work. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Josh O'Neill at RealDeal_J O'Neill asks, with the underwhelming showcase PlayStation showed, do you both think it may have been to show their bigger titles at the summer showcase? It would reach a bigger audience and help lure gamers to the console. Hope you're both doing well. Have a great week. Do you think we get a summer showcase, or I'm not sure if this could be?
I think he's talking about Summer
Game Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're definitely getting something there. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think they were. I'm still going to go with this. I think that they had other things planned. Factions was definitely one of them. It just wasn't ready. These showcases, they work on them like months in advance. And I think Factions was slotted in there. And then when they knew they couldn't, they were like, they pivoted. They went, the Gran Turismo trailer just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit in it. It's an easy trailers, even movie trailers, and like, come on, man. They're just put it on YouTube and they're just like, they're live. Like, it didn't need to be in the showcase. And then even Project Q and that, it just felt weird.
Well, because we didn't actually learn anything about them. They were just like, they exist. Bye.
It's hey, Tom Anderson got the scoop and let it out there. We're just going to confirm it. That's all we're doing. So to me, Factions was supposed to be there. It's obviously not going to be. There's some stuff going on. It sucks. PlayStation's pivoting to something different than they've never done before, which is that live service thing, which is not, I'm not a big fan of, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to like the games. I'm going to try them. Matt and I talked about this. Until I try the game, I can't knock the game. Exactly. But I think that's what's happened. And I think they have something for Summer Games Fest. They're not going to not have anything for Keeley's. I don't think it's going to be that thing that's going to knock everybody's socks off, but it's going to be something. It's going to be something that's already done.
I truly think that. I do think it's something first party that we're going to get this year. I don't think they're going to. I don't think Spider-Man 2 will be the only thing. I don't know why. I have no real reason for it. There's just something in my gut saying they're saving something for Keeley's showcase. And I think they know that if they had dropped it in the showcase and then just gave more info at the Summer Game Fest, it wouldn't have the same splash. Exactly. Yep. I think there's something there that is going to hit this year. What it is, I'm not sure, but there's just something in my gut telling me that this isn't the end of what PlayStation has coming this year.
And I still think we'll get, because we know Naughty Dog's working on stuff that's not Factions. That's Game Awards. Naughty Dog's Game Awards, people. Like that's where they are now.
The delay in Factions already confirmed that they have a new single player experience that they're working on. So again, we know there's stuff coming. And our final question from the week comes from Brian Eck, who asks, I bought a PS5 solely for that single player Sony experience. Do you think Sony's current messaging with live service plans could potentially alienate the core fan base given the lack of focus from first party studios during the PlayStation showcase?
So, I literally kind of like talked about that, right? It's like 2 seconds ago, right?
So for me, I really do think they're trying to, bake their cake and eat it too. Yep. I don't think we've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Sony first party studios that we've come to know and love, none of them, as far as we know, are working live service.
Correct. Yes.
Right?
And we knew Naughty Dog was.
Well, again, Factions is the outlier here, but again,
they wanted to make a multiplayer, and Sony wanted them to pivot to a live service game. I think that's the difference. I think they should have just made the multiplayer.
Sure.
I'm kidding.
I think that like Factions is something that everybody wants. We know Guerrilla, they may be working on something live service, but that might be something like Killzone. I don't think
it's Killzone. Come on, move on.
I think that a lot of the single player experiences, I don't think we're going to lose those. I don't think those are being taken away because I think Sony knows. I think they know very, very well that they need those exclusive desperately to continue to be in the
20 million on Spider-Man,
they know
19.5 on God of War. We ain't losing single player games.
I just think that we're going to have the live service kind of shoveled on top of it, and whether it all sticks or if it doesn't, I think this is 5 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, wow, that live service, that was a friggin' mistake. Or, oh, look, 3 of those games actually hit and make Sony a lot of money. I don't think their first party stuff is going anywhere, and they've been very clear in that messaging that, hey, we're doing both. We're not giving it up. So I don't think they're going to alienate anybody, but I do think that we're going to see a lot more live service focus from them in their messaging, in the in between of the single player experiences that we've come to know and love. Am I off base?
I don't think you are, because everybody's opinion's different. Like, I personally, when they first started talking about all the live service stuff, I was like, oh, I was like, come on, man. And then when I watched the Xbox showcase, I'm like, oh my God, they're giving me all those single player campaign games that I love. And I'm like, and Sony's going the opposite way. I'm like, am I going to just switch? Because that to me that's the games that I play. But seeing what I just saw from Spider-Man 2, I'm like, okay, we're good. They're still going to be doing them, knowing that if you go on LinkedIn, people, you can go on LinkedIn. Ghost of Tsushima 2 is real. There is no doubt in my mind that that game exists. Like, LinkedIn for Sucker Punch is just screaming that game is being made right now, which is still hilarious how we didn't see anything about it. I'm like, that is the most leaked game on Sony's first party that we all know is being made, and they're like, no, it's not being made right now. You're like, dude, you have it in LinkedIn.
I just really think they're waiting till like 6 months out before they announce it.
Yeah.
I think
That could be the game. If they don't have anything from Naughty Dog, that could be the Game Awards, right? Like, it's just and it's going to be a trailer. But I still think we're going to get those huge single party games. But like this year, where Zelda came out, and it's like, okay, you don't need to throw, like, you look at it, God of War is at the beginning of the year, and Spider-Man's at the end of the year, and Zelda gets the middle. Like, you stay away from those games, and if the numbers say are true, Grand Theft Auto is coming out next year. Like, do you need live service games? Are perfect to just have next year and be like, you can have those go against Grand Theft Auto, because everybody's gonna be playing Grand Theft Auto. That's fine. Everybody's gonna play that game. But you can live service games and that don't compete. Your single player, first party, please give us another Uncharted and Infamous. We're gonna get those games. Like I said, I looked at those sales numbers today. There's no doubt in my mind. They're 20, 19, 15, 10. Every single player. Jesus. Days Gone was technically a failure. It would have been Xbox's biggest first party sale.
And that's
it was a failure to PlayStation. It would have been the best selling game on the. And there's right there to the whole console war and the victory lap and trying to get in, trying to get out. Literally, Days Gone would have been the number one selling first party game on their console.
Yeah, I don't think we have it going anywhere. And GTA coming out, like, again, if GTA Online hits at the same time, then there's a conversation about live service games being available, and we could have some worry there. But right now, I don't think we have any worry about what PlayStation's doing. If we get word that Guerrilla, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Polyphony, if all of those games start working live service in perpetuity, then I'm going to be worried.
If we get the studios that we know are first party, then I'm angry.
Yep.
I'm angry. If Sucker Punch is like, we're working on a live service game, like, no, you're not. If Insomniac works on a live service game, yeah, we're gonna have issues.
And that's what I mean. But we will definitely keep you all posted as we learn and hear more. But of course, before we go, we have to thank our wonderful patrons. Thank you to each and every patron who joins us over on patreon.com/carpoolgaming. But we need to shout out our ultimate producers. Robbie Bobby Miller, head to twitch.tv/Robbie Bobby Miller. Tony Baker, youtube.com/quest4pixels. Jonathan Brown, please go check out Video Game Boy, and you can hear all more about him at linktree/pme.jib. And of course, Lee Navarro, our fearless leader over the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team at phoenixoverdrive.com. Our platinum producers, Markus McCracken and RJ Kern, and our gold members, Adam K, Anna, BobLoblaw, Bowsah, Cecily Carrozza, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Fulish Fuji, Hoppel, John 32, Jonas Young, Jose Jimenez, Marcus O'Neill, ScheiGuy, Tim Aulph, and Tim Paullin. We appreciate all of you so very, very much. Thank you for all your support. Court, before we go, if people wanted to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
You can find me at Court Lawn on Twitter, or you can get me every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. on 3 Dads and a Console.
I'm so proud of you. Look at you. doing the thing. As for myself, you can find me on twitter.com/Matt_SilverSoul here on the PlayStation Drive each and every week. We have so much more coming for you guys very, very soon. Get Hyped. Summer Game Fest is coming. Xbox is coming. There's a whole lot more in store in the next few weeks, and we'll see you next week. Peace.